Right, it's pleasantly warm. Good, because when I woke up this morning, it was 13 degrees in my bedroom. So my priority this morning is to look at the embers with delight. Now, if I was patient, I'd carefully gather all these hot coals together. I would put some kindling on top, open up the vents, and I'd allow it all to reignite on its own accord. But I'm not patient. I want my fire now. I want to lean back, look at the fire, and then warm up. And then when I'm warm, I can think about eating something, drinking something. Then I can think about dentists. Because I went to my usual dentist, the local one, and the dentist that I've been seeing for a number of years, that I have a good rapport with, has left. It's working somewhere else now. And they've been replaced with people that barely speak English, and it's like, I don't trust you anywhere near my mouth. Not when you're like that. How do I communicate to someone who doesn't understand what I'm saying? The answer is you don't. And then you end up having an unnecessary medical procedure which you can't reverse. So, no, not dealing with cowboys, which means I'll have to go private. As don't know about, if you're an NHS patient, can you just swap your dental practice? I know it's not good for dentists at the moment, is it? They're saying apparently there's not enough NHS dentists to do it. I don't know. What I really need is a tooth x-ray, and then someone who I trust can tell me whether it's worth keeping the tooth I've got, or if I do an extraction. Or you could spend significantly more money on the root canal, but you know what? It's not necessary for a fire lighter. It's going. You could spend a lot of money on the root canal. One of the private places I saw quoted, I think, £625 for that, as opposed to an extraction which is £200 and a filling which is £100. So, yeah. I wouldn't get a root canal. The reason I wouldn't is, if a dentist is telling you you need a root canal on that tooth, what they're saying is, the organ's dead, let me hollow it all out and fill it up, and hopefully that will cure the rot. Most of the time it does, sometimes it doesn't. But if I've got a dead organ, I don't want it festering inside my body. So if that's the case, it can be removed. And you know what? I managed to snuff it. That was really good of me. Well done. So let's try that again, shall we? Do you know what? I think that will work. My tooth's not in any pain, by the way, but there are times when it's sensitive, and it gives me concern because I thought, oh God, I can't trust those butchers. the other thing was, and look, I'm not someone who's fastidious and keeps like a well-stocked perfume cabinet, but I make an effort if someone's having to get close to me that I'll wear some perfume and I'll have a scrub, because I know it's distracting to be working in close proximity with someone and their smell is you can't concentrate because of the smell. I mean, some smells are fine. For example, I don't mind the smell of cow farms. It's just something pleasant about cows, even if they are dirty creatures. I don't know how to explain it. Certainly not true of pigs or horses, but cows, I can do with cows. Can't deal with sheep or chicken or any other livestock, but I do like cows. So did my ancestors, actually. Maybe there's something in the blood. But I wanted to get out of that dentist place because she was leaning over me and just smelled bad. And had the cheek to sort of ask me, say, oh, what's that thing in there? I'm like, I got an ulcer in my mouth, you see. It's like, you've not got any communicable bloodborne diseases. And I thought, you, who smell like that, who look like that, you've got the cheek to ask if I am the disease vector here. Fucking cheek of it. God, that pissed me off. Treating me like I'm some sort of diseased scum. So, yeah. And all the checkup did was just, she poked this spike into my gums, amongst all the teeth, and I was like, yeah, I've done the bare minimum. Right, you can go, and I'll collect the money from the NHS. And I just thought to myself, this is a fucking scam. When I was growing up, I had one dentist, and he was in Oxford, and I'd go to his dental place and take the bus, because even back then you wouldn't want to park in Oxford. And he was well spoken, as one would expect of a professional. He was compassionate. I never felt that he was doing something unnecessary. And he would be thorough. So one of the things he would do, which was, and this was before I had an electric toothbrush, he said, well, you've got some plaque build up there, Mr. Hobbit. So I'm just going to scrape it off, and then I'll give you a polish. And this is something which is the realm of a dental hygienist now, which typically tends to be a woman. I don't know why. And they charge you a lot of money for that service. And I thought, well, all you're doing is using a fancy toothbrush, one which is operating pneumatically instead of electrically, and you're scrubbing someone's teeth. I mean, I can do that myself. That's why I've got an electric toothbrush. And in fact, towards the last years of going to that dentist, he said, your teeth are excellent. Normally I complain about your tartar build-up, but your plaque build-up. What's the difference between plaque and tartar? Don't know. But no, all I'm going to do is give you a polish. There's nothing to scrape off. Well done. And I was ever so pleased with that, because he basically said, yeah, your dental hygiene's got better. The only thing he did, which I regretted and then I later replaced, was he gave me a mercury amalgam filling, and it caused me to have issues. So I said to him, can I get that upgraded for a ceramic one? And I used the word upgraded rather than replaced, because what's the word I'm looking for here? He said by doing that, what is I'm looking for? By get, I basically didn't want to say, look, dentist, your work is shit and it's causing me problems. Take this poison out and replace it with a ceramic filling. So I deliberately chose that language in order to be diplomatic, and it worked. And he says, "Oh well, you're an NHS patient. You'll have to. I can offer you a ceramic, but you'll have to pay for it." And I said, "Yeah, yeah, that's fine." It's a shame. Towards the end, actually, he had a receptionist who was quite shitty, and because he was a private dentist, but he had some NHS patients, which I was one of, and she was like, "No, you must pay. I insist." And I was like, "Well, yes, I am paying, but it's paid for via the NHS." And she said, "Oh, we don't take NHS. Well, this is a private dental practice." And I said, "Oh, if you look in those files there, handwritten files, by the way, you'll find my name." And then she had a huff because, oh God, someone's asked me to do a modicum of work. Have you ever noticed that? You go someplace, and I'm not saying it's always women, but it seems to be whenever I'm asking someone to do a job, and it's a woman there, and it is something that they're expected to do, but you're asking them to do it, they get really arsey with you. Like, why are you asking me to do work? It's like, well, you work here, I don't. Do you want me to have a look in the files? Oh no, you can't do that. That's confidential information. So do your job then, and stop making me out to be some sort of arsehole. I just I checked myself then because I thought, is my problem with women? I thought, no, it's not a woman. My problem's with incompetence. I've dealt with many corrupt and fraudulent men, and I I realise it just seems to be that luck of the draw. I deal with some arsey women who get in a huff because you've asked them to do their job. But anyway, had that dentist for a while, really good. Then he retired, and I thought, okay, it's time to find a new dentist. Followed my grandfather's instruction for a while, and he said, "Oh, there's this great dentist here in a different part of Oxford," and I went there, and she wasn't. She was a butcher. So I then found a dentist where I live locally, and I was happy with that for a while. And now, unfortunately, it's got to the stage where a dentist has left, and now I'm looking for another one because I have no faith in the current monkey that does it. And the reason I say that is, if you're familiar with the film Any Which Way But Loose, which is a very boring film starring Clint Eastwood and an orangutan, he's got a pet orangutan, and I would rather trust that orangutan to look after my teeth than this dentist. I actually, yeah, I am casting aspersions on the validity of their dentistry degree because I think to myself, there's no way you're a competent, trained medical professional. I've no faith in you whatsoever. And it's sad we have to that this is what happens. I mean, before you'd have people, you'd have bad doctors and dentists, but generally you could expect a certain standard of service from them. And well, that's that's gone now. The good quality service that I grew up having, and I naively expected to have as I got older, it doesn't exist anymore, and that worries me. Oh well, none of us live forever, don't we? So I guess in the end it doesn't really matter. I remember I was speaking to a French chap and he says, oh look, if it's really bad, go on holiday to France and then go and see a dentist. They have to serve you, and regardless of who you are. And so apparently their social medicine is a bit more equal. No, what's the word? A bit more socialist. That's it. Not sure how that works really, but I think I'd want to hold off on that because the idea gives me anxiety. I don't really like the idea of gaining my system, yet alone gaining a foreign country's system. I think the only time I've ever received medical attention when I was in France was I got a sea urchin or a jellyfish sting. Not sure what it was actually. It hurt a lot, and yeah, I was seen to by some paramedics who dressed the wound and neutralised whatever poison it was, and sent on my way. I think we've got ourselves a fire. Yep. Let's open up the vents. Get it good and what's the word I'm looking for? Good. Breathe a lot so it can get good and hot. Right. Oh, I'm regretting my lack of sleep. Toodle pip.